Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Lily Reads. Okay, in today's video, we are going to be doing a video I am so excited about because one of you gave me the idea for the video. It was late at night. I was going through comments. Yes, I read you guys' comments. I was going through comments, reading what all of you guys had to say, and they just gave me the idea of ideas. I'm going to pop it right here. Actually, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up on my computer so I can read it word for word, bar for bar, okay? It says, Kenya, what do you think about a pink and yellow vlog? The Happy Place by Emily Henry, Yellowface, maybe another if they are in your favorite colors too. This is from Avelenco, right here. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, my room, I have this yellow and pink room, a whole pink door. Like, it's just, you know what? It's just the vibe. I'm going to move over just to show you. Like, it's just the vibe. And it's just like, how did I never think about this? And so I immediately went to my bookshelf because I am always looking for some type of reason to group books together. And this was the perfect one. So I went to my bookshelf and I was like, what books would fit a yellow and pink theme? Yellow and actually a really, really light lavender is my favorite color, but my room is yellow and pink. It's the brand. The brand is yellow and pink. And so I went to my bookshelf and I picked my colors. My goddamn colors. So let's talk about the books we're going to read in this video. Severance. You can't see this because of my lights that are like in front of me, but this is the perfect baby pink that I love. It matches my door. Like, look at that. Just look at the colors. That it's perfect. I had Severance and I was like, I want to read Severance and it will be perfect for this video. So there's that. Then of course you have your books that have pink and yellow on them. Oh yeah. We're reading Bunny. It's that time. We are going to read Bunny. Bunny is one of those books where, like, at first it was a cult classic when it came out, and now, like, it's like everyone likes this book or everyone talks about this book, and it's interesting to see a book do that. You love that for the book, but, like, this book 100% when I first heard about it was cult classic, and now it's just, like, everybody liked the book. So let's move on. The next, oh yeah, it's her time. Yellowface. Yeah, how do you have a yellow and pink book and not read Yellowface, which everyone is loving? If I had to give one book a 5-star prediction, I have 2 books in here that I think will be 5-star predictions, but Yellowface is one of the 5-star predictions because obviously I think I'm going to like it. This is my R.F. Kwong. I feel like this is going to be the one because I ain't reading Poppy Wars. It's so funny. In this same comment section, one of you said, it's the first comment, was like, why would y'all recommend Kenya Babel? Because people swear I just have not found the fantasy book for me. Like, people swear it. And it's just like, y'all know I love a good boring ass book about a bunch of regular ass people. Like, when did it ever get fantasy? I don't know. The next thing we have, The Bodyguard. Yeah, y'all didn't think I snuck it right on in here. The Bodyguard gets a nice little sneak. It's so funny because I didn't think I was going to get to this book this year. But then I saw it and it said, oh, it's literally pink and yellow. Like, here is your moment. Here is your time. The Bodyguard's going to get read in this video. Oh, yes. It's her time. It's Emily Henry's time. I am so excited to read this book. Like, I've waited for this moment. It has come. It is this week. I'm so fucking excited. And it's my brand. I never even thought about it to the comment. Like, it is. It's pink and it's yellow. Like, it's our time. It's our time. And then I hope that with this cover and Yellowface cover, we start getting louder covers. Like, we start getting louder, more robust covers going into 2024. That is deeply what I'm hoping. Because, like, wake it up. Make bookshelves fun again. Like, I love this. And it's so interesting that Emily Henry has a hardback book. Like, that's crazy. Like, the price of the brick is up. This is 37 Canadian if you're Canadian. Why the hell did I read that? But like, if you're Canadian, this book was 30. How are Canadians affording books? Canadians, drop down below. How are y'all affording books? $37 fucking dollars? Oh baby. None of these books will be on this shelf for $37. Ooh, I'm Kindle only. And then we have a late submission to the party. And it's actually going to be the first book we read in this video. So, Reckless Girls, I looked at it and looked at it again. It's just like, I'm kind of being nasty. Because I don't want to read this book, I wasn't going to put it in this video. But like, I'm kind of ahead of schedule on my reading for July. And so there's no reason I can't read this book. And so it's just like, it fits perfect. It actually fits more than some of the books that I chose. Like, if I'm choosing Emily Henry, I have to choose this, right? Like, you got to play fair, right? Like, this fits more. And so, like, this is my yellow. Like, so I picked it. I dusted her off the shelf, and I picked it. So this is the last book. So we're going to read 6 books in this video. We're reading 6 books in this video. I have a lot of hope. Down below, tell me what you think my 5-star predictions are. My eyebrow looks crazy. Tell me what you think my 5-star predictions are. You know what they are. You guess real quick. Yeah, you guess. It's Happy Place and Yellow Face. I genuinely believe this is going to be... I don't know if anything can beat People We Meet on Vacation. And I also love Beach Read. So if this can rival how much I love those 2 books... Ooh, everybody who I like has liked this book. Everyone who I like has liked this book. So, y'all have liked this book. I see you guys on Goodreads gushing about this book. Emily Henry, the person you are. That's what's so crazy. I'm still talking and we're at 7 minutes. But, like, to think that R.F. Kuang wrote Babel and then went on to write Yellowface, that's crazy. Like, some people... How did talent evade me? Like, to think you could write a book like Babel, that people loved. And then you write something like Yellowface a year later and also people are loving. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. We're going to start with Reckless Girls, okay? Peace. Hello, you guys. I'm here to give you guys my initial thoughts on Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. Rachel Hawkins wrote The Wife Upstairs. I actually enjoyed The Wife Upstairs. It was a pretty basic thriller, but like, it worked for me. I love a domestic thriller. It was good. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed it. So I'm coming into Reckless Girls with the best of intentions. I've heard good things. I've heard mediocre things. So in this book, we are following a girl, a 20-something-year-old who works at a hotel in Hawaii. She's a housekeeper. And basically, she doesn't really like her life. She cleans up after rich people all day. But it's the life that she lives because she wanted to escape her old life. We don't know much about her old life when we meet her. But we know she used to live in San Diego. And basically, she left San Diego with her boyfriend and moved to Hawaii. Her boyfriend is actually rich, but he likes to pretend like he's not rich. He doesn't ask his parents for money, and he's kind of like a knockoff sailor. Like, he likes to work on boats and stuff, but like, he's just a rich guy looking for a hobby. Well, one day they run into these 2 girls, and these 2 girls want to go on an adventure, and they decide that their adventure is going to be to go to this like island. There's this island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that has all types of stories about people becoming shipwrecked, people having to eat each other, people dying, and basically these girls want to go to that island. And so they enlist our main girl's boyfriend to help them do that because he's a sailor, he has a boat, and he's going to pay them a whole lot of money to go to this island. And so at first our main character is just like, why would you say yes to that? Like, these girls don't know you. We don't know these girls. Why would they want to do this with you? And he's just like, it's good money. We can, you know, start a new life with that money. And that kind of makes our main character be like, okay, because she wants money. She's tired of, you know, cleaning rooms. And this is a little vacation for her. Free vacation, you know. So she decides to go. They all go on this boat, and then they get to this island. When they get on this island, you know, they meet people and things, you know, go a little bit haywire. Someone goes missing. That's pretty much what is happening in this book. Now, I do have to say, this book starts off with someone already dead. A lot of these books where a bunch of people go on vacation usually start with someone being dead, and then you go back in time to figure out why the person is dead. Anyways, I'm more than halfway done with this book. You can tell by the way I'm acting, I'm not really enjoying it. It's fine. Like, the only reason why I'm reading this book is because it fits the theme. It fits the theme perfectly. It's yellow and pink, and that's my brand. But honestly, the minute I bought this book, I knew I should not have purchased this book. I don't like books like this. I don't like one person dead, we're in the middle of nowhere. I don't enjoy books like this, honestly, at all. I find them to be boring. I don't care about these characters. I don't care about these characters' backstory. I don't know why, when it comes to a domestic thriller, I love hearing about people's backstories. I love hearing about their mundane lives. But when it comes to a locked room thriller, I don't care. Like, I just find it all to be just boring. And this book is just no different. I will say the girls that they meet are sketchy. And obviously whatever's going on in this book, those girls are a part of it. And so I am curious as to what these two girls could possibly be doing. Like, what could possibly be the twist or the what's going on. I am curious about that. And so I am rating this. I'm going to obviously rate this book on my enjoyment. But just because I don't enjoy this book, and I'm probably going to give this book 3 stars, it doesn't change that this book could be perfectly enjoyable for someone else. So I am going to continue reading it. I will come back to you guys tomorrow with my final thoughts. But, like, whatever. We have to get through so many books in this video. So I'm not keeping y'all long. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace. You can't be replaced. So go now. I finished Tabata. Tabata is always a labor of love. I love doing Tabata, but when I tell you me, it is so hard. If you do Peloton or if you just cycle and you do Tabata, put down in the comments how hard that shit is. Like, I'm exhausted, but I love the feeling of accomplishment. Like I told you guys, I'm a goal person. So I just love this idea of doing 32 efforts on the bike. 55 is my resistance. Yes, I have now been at 55. I started Tabata at 49, I think. I think I started Tabata at 49 when I first started doing it 2 years ago. And now I'm at 55, which is absolutely crazy. I remember when I used to struggle to do like 52. Now I'm at 55. But anyways, that's not what I'm here to talk to you guys about. I'm here to give you guys my final thoughts on Reckless Girls. I'm happy I read this book first because it's just like, okay, we can move the hell on. I'm giving this book 2 out of 5 stars, which is what I thought I was going to give this book. This book isn't interesting. You want to know what? I would much rather this book had been about a group of friends who all go to an island for like a birthday, a vacation, a wedding, and someone dies than what this book actually is. This book is about a bunch of people who don't know each other being on an island. And people, like one person dying. Well, actually, let me not spoil nothing. But like, people die, but it's just not interesting. I don't feel like these characters are like really connected enough in a way that matters for you to care when like the things that happen start to happen. The plot twist wasn't very twisty. I did enjoy some elements, the way that the characters would eventually become connected in the things that the characters do to one another. The lies, I did enjoy that aspect of it, but not enough to push this book up to a 3-star. Not enough for me to recommend this book. If you have this book, you can read it. It won't take you long to read, but like, I don't think you need to go out of your way to get your hands on Reckless Girls. It's fine. I'm gonna give this book 2 out of 5 stars. It's just not for me. I do think some people could really enjoy this book. If you are someone who really likes this type of thriller, this locked room,
isolated destination type of thrillers. People have secrets, who's lying, who's telling the truth. You probably should read this book just to add it to, you know, your repertoire. But for me, I don't really like books like that. So the book we are moving on to is The Bodyguard. So we're getting into our romance bag. Rarely, I feel like, in my vlogs in 2023 do I read romance in the vlogs. For some reason, that's just not something that I've been doing. Like I said, adult contemporary romance is just not what I'm interested in anymore. I go through phases, so I'll not be interested in it in July, then catch me in December. I'm all about it. So I just go up and down right now. That is just not what I'm in. So yeah, by the way, outfit that I worked out in today, Free People. This is from Free People. This is from Lululemon. You do not necessarily need to wear like a bra under this. This is just, I got this in a size medium, and I should have got it in a small because I have this bodysuit in a small and I don't wear a bra under it because it's like tight enough to, you know, keep everything in. But this is just really big on me, so like it would just fall down if like I didn't wear a bra under it. So bra, Lulu, Free People bodysuit. These bodysuits from Free People are so good. I don't know if they still have them. I bought them like a year and a half ago, but that's where I got this all from. Anyways, I'm about to do my hair, you guys. So actually I won't be reading anytime soon. I am about to take these braids out, do my hair, and I'm gonna put some twist in my hair. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling. My mom claims she's gonna be here around 5 o'clock today. She's gonna come pay me a visit. I don't know about that, so we'll see how that goes. If my mom shows up, then I really won't be reading, but we'll see. I have my coffee. I'm gonna take some swigs of this, and then I'm gonna get started on taking my braids out, okay? Hello, you guys. I don't know why I'm holding up the book the minute you guys see this clip. Sorry for the lighting. It's a vlog. Sometimes the lighting gonna be good, sometimes the lighting gonna be bad. I don't know what to tell you. I am here to talk about Catherine Center, The Bodyguard. You want to know what I appreciate about Miss Catherine Center? She is going to make her name the biggest thing on the cover. And you know what? Period. When you write a book, you can make your name the biggest thing on the cover. I love that for her. Because even the book she came out with, I think this month or last month, it was a book of the month pick. I did not pick it, but I'll show you guys some books. I have Bookmail to show you guys, so I'll show you a pick. What book I chose for the book of the month pick. You can tell it's late. Anyways, I am reading The Bodyguard. Everybody and their mama loved this book last year, and I never got my hands on it. But somebody was selling this book for like $3 on Pango Books, and I said, okay, I will purchase it on there. And so I did. And so shout out to whoever out there gave me their copy. I have it right here. And I want to start by saying, obviously, I feel like of all the books that we're going to read, this book probably goes the most with my brand. Like, it literally looks like the room I'm filming this in, number one. And, yeah, number two, I want to give this book. This book has the most interesting premise of any adult contemporary romance that I have read in a really long time. The reason why I have kind of fallen out of love with adult contemporary romance is because I feel like the characters aren't doing anything. Like, I get it, it's a romance and the romance is supposed to be the biggest part, but the characters just aren't doing anything outside of the romance. Like, there's not a good plot within the story, you know? There's nothing to ground the romance, you know? There's nothing to anchor the romance down in reality. And so it just feels like we're jumping from smutty scene to smutty scene, from kissing to I love yous to I hate yous, and there's no real story being told. Because at the end of the day with romance, you know the beats. Romance is never going to do anything else. They're going to end up together in the end, you know? They're going to meet each other, or they already know each other. They're going to realize they like each other, and they're going to realize they can be together. That is just what romance is about, you know? And I love that about romance. But in order to keep me interested, you're going to have to give me a good plot. And that's what this book does. This book has an interesting plot. I never looked into what this book was about, so boy was I blown away when I realized the girl was the bodyguard. The girl is the bodyguard. So this book is about a girl. She works for this bodyguard company, and basically her mother just died, and her boyfriend, who also works at the bodyguard company, he just broke up with her, and so she's just like, I need something to clear my mind. I need to be sent on like a job, because they do jobs all over the world. And she wants to just have a job that takes her out of Houston, Texas, so she doesn't have to think about her mom. But her employer is like, you need to grieve, you need to grieve. Well, a local job comes along, and it is for them to be a bodyguard for a celebrity. And so he puts her on the job because it's local. She can still do the job, but she's not far from home. And so he's like, it's perfect. So she becomes a bodyguard for this celeb. Well, one thing leads to another, and they end up having to fake date. They have to fake date in order to like sell that she's a bodyguard, because you don't want people to know she's a bodyguard. So they have to sell that she's like just someone who's hanging around him. So they decide to make her his girlfriend, because they're going to be living at his mother's house, or they're going to be visiting his mother, then they eventually live with the mother. It's a whole thing. So anyways, that's how their romance starts. She's a bodyguard for this celebrity guy, and this celebrity guy is dealing with having a stalker, dealing with his brother being dead, and dealing with a sick mother. What a fun premise. What a fun premise. That's the thing. Everything is already cooked up into this book. So when it comes to your third act breakup, when it comes to, you know, the chaos that you want in a romance, when it comes to them falling for each other, it's all built in. So like, this is like fake dating, obviously, but it makes sense, you know, because it's for her job. It makes sense for them to fake date. Them having to eventually like break up, she's going to have to leave the job eventually. So that's already built in. And that's what I'm trying to say. If people just put those brains to work, they would realize that you can make romance that hits the beats that we all know romance needs to hit, but in creative ways. And I just feel like not enough people are being creative. This book is able to hit all of those beats, but in a creative way, a way that makes sense, a way that you're like, oh wow, I see why they're going to have to break up. Oh wow, I see how they're going to fall for each other. Oh, it makes sense that they're fake dating, because there's a plot here. And I'm so sorry, the people who are like, oh my gosh, plots don't matter in romance. They do. When there's a reason why the books that people really, really enjoy, there's a reason why they are, it's because they have plots. The books that make sense, the books that everyone enjoys, it's because they have plots. Now, I do have my gripes with this book. This is just not 100% my type of romance. I don't like Catherine Center's writing as much as I think I should. So this is nowhere near going to be a 5-star for me. We're looking at like a 3.5, 3.75. I don't like Catherine's writing. This book will be so much better if Emily Henry wrote it. No shade. I just like the way Emily Henry writes better. Like, I like the banter. I like the boppiness in the dialogue. I like that better. In this book, our two main characters, like, I see them falling in love, but I also like don't. Like, there's not enough, you know, fun, the good dialogue between the two characters for me to really love the romance aspect of this book. But I am having so much fun with the plot. I love the plot, and I love how this story is written. I say I hate the writing. I love how the story is written. I love how the story is told. It's told with the narrator talking to us. So our main character is talking to us, telling us the story. You guys know that's my favorite way to be told a story, to read a story, for the narration to go. I love it when we have first person, what's that called? What's it called? First person, whatever. When it's told in first person and they're telling you the story, when the narrator is telling you the story from themselves, or if it's a third person omniscient narrator telling you the story, like when you as the reader are involved in the story, you know, like they're actively telling you a story, you know. Anyways, I'm gonna finish this, and in the morning I'll talk back with you guys. Okay, peace. Hello you guys, I'm sorry for the same bad lighting as yesterday, but I want to come and give you guys my final review On The Bodyguard by Catherine Sinner, I'm going to give this book 3.75 stars. I didn't enjoy it enough to give it 4 stars. Like, I thought the premise was absolutely amazing, and I thought it was really interesting, and that's what kept me really involved, was the plot. But when it came to this being a romance story, I really wasn't into the romance. The romance didn't do anything for me. There were never moments where I was just swooning and just so in love with these, like, 2 people as a romance. I just really liked the story, if that made sense. So, like, if I had to rate the story, I'd rate the story a 4 star. If I had to rate the romance, I'd rate the romance a 3 star. So I just think meeting in the middle is like a 3.5, 3.75 if I want to be really generous. I think that's good, and that's not me taking anything away from this book, because I have not liked most adult contemporary romance this year, so the fact that I enjoyed this well enough is, you know, good. I'm hoping Emily Henry Happy Place really changes how I feel about adult contemporary romance. It's just, I don't know. I would have to revisit this book. I think when I'm in a different time, when I can appreciate a book like this, I think I would appreciate it more. And that's a lot of books I think I'm reading right now. I would have to just go back, you know, later in life to see how I feel about this book. I think a different Kenya could like this book a whole lot more, but I still enjoyed this book. Like, I didn't want to put it down. It didn't annoy me, because a lot of adult contemporary just annoys me. This did not. I thought this book was perfectly good. I would read more from Catherine Sinner. I'll check out the next book from the library. And this book had so many good elements. Like, I don't want to take away from what this book does well. This book has so many good elements, so many good plot lines. I just thought it was interesting. I was always curious what was going to happen next. So, like, 3.75, that's why I'm giving it that. So, anyways, we are going to move on to, I know you guys are like, read Happy Place. No. No, Happy Place is kind of long. Like, I can't commit to it because I don't want it to take me too long to read it, and it kind of stalls this video. So I'd rather get like some other books out of the way and then get to Happy Place. So Severance, I want to read Severance. I have not read a book like Severance in a really long time. So I want to read Severance, and this, ooh, this is like my favorite type of pink. You can't see because the lighting sucks, as we acknowledge, but this is my favorite type of pink. So we'll talk about this in the mornings. But so far, this video is like meh. But my summer ween video started off with 2 like meh, even though I don't consider The Bodyguard meh, but like started off with 2 like not amazing, nothing I will talk about at the end of the year books, and then it got really good. So let's see. Anyways, I'm gonna head off to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. So let's talk about Severance by Ling Ma. This book is nothing like I thought it would be about. I didn't know what I thought this book was going to be about, but it is not what I thought it was. So in this book, we are following a girl, and we are following her before the apocalypse and after the apocalypse. Basically, there is a fever going around. It's called Shane fever, and basically it's causing people to like die, and all of these people have met up, and they're kind of almost in like a cult together, and they're all trying to survive this fever that has taken over what we can assume is like the globe. They're in New York, and not, they're over in the country now, so I think it's like taken over like the globe. And then you have before all of that happened, where we are following our main character as she's living in New York and she's living her life. So you kind of have both of those. She is a millennial, so like in the, you know, contemporary story, you're getting this millennial who's both of her parents are dead, and she's kind of just finding her footing. She works at like this publishing copywriting house where pretty much she just sells Bibles. She just like repackages Bibles and sell them, like, again, because like that's what people want to buy. And basically you're getting to know her and like what's going on in her life and everything she's going through. You get to know like her going back to like Hong Kong, where her family is from, and everything that she's going through. And then in the post-apocalyptic story, you have basically almost like The Walking Dead, I believe, where they kind of go into these houses of people who have either died or are sick, and they like take all the supplies that they need, and then they go back to their campground, where basically they're all just camping around together and trying to survive. Those are the 2 stories that's going on. So basically I get the story. It took me a while to get what this story was trying to do, but then it just all clicked. This book is like an allegory. Like, you have the obvious story, which is like capitalism, how our main character is being like fucked over by capitalism, and it's explaining capitalism. One of the richest things I think this book does to show like how disgusting capitalism is, and also how like boring and tired capitalism is that our main character resells Bibles. Like, the most successful book that they publish every single year is the Bible, and basically people only buy them because they've been like, capitalism is a part of it. So even these people who believe they're so religious and so spiritual and we just love the Bible, even they have been taken over by capitalism because they just want to buy new and shiny Bibles. They want to buy Bibles with jewels inside of them. They want to buy Bibles that they can write on, stuff like that. And it's showing how capitalism affects everyone. She's talking about how like she was trying to grieve the death of her parents, but everyone around her was like asking her if she was going to get a job, like when she was going to get a job. And so she felt like, I gotta go get a job. How everyone asks each other what they're going to do, what they do for a living, stuff like that. Getting like kicked out of your apartment because you've been priced out, all of that stuff. So you get this idea on capitalism. But in the post-apocalyptic story, you get almost this allegory for capitalism, like this thing that is just slowly eating and causing everyone to die. One of the people in their group gets like the sickness that's going around, and this book said something interesting. It was like, I think nostalgia is what causes you to take on the sickness. And I'm like, that's clever, because like even in like capitalism, what makes you depressed, because that's what I think I had to really keep reading to think like what exactly the two things are. What's the sickness in the like contemporary, what's the sickness in the post-apocalyptic. But like when you start thinking about what your life used to be before capitalism took over your life, that's when you get depressed. Like thinking about what your life was really causes depression. And I thought that was interesting to use this idea of like the sickness getting you. Once you start thinking about nostalgia, you start thinking about your old life, you know? And then also in the book, they're in the post-apocalyptic world. She gets an iPhone. One of the guys gives her old iPhone that they took from her when she first joined them on the countryside. And he was like, oh, it doesn't work. It's just something to anchor you. Like so you can like remember what life used to be, so you can keep on going. And that's a also real interesting take on capitalism, how we're all clinging on to like something that reminds us of old life, and capitalism wants you to cling on to something, so you keep working within capitalism. It's almost this little bit of hope. But even the fact that it's an iPhone, which is the thing that she's like wanting so bad, shows just the work that capitalism has done. A lot of the stuff that we cling on to that kind of keeps us sane is capitalism. For example, I'm going book shopping just to feel something, capitalism, but like I enjoy, like it's really interesting. So those are my thoughts thus far on the book. How do I like feel? Like, am I like, you know, absolutely loving it? It's fine. It's fine. I always love a book that like makes me think, and it's easy to read. The main character is really interesting. You guys know I do not like millennial tales about millennial girls and their millennial problems. I think they've been done before. And if this book didn't have the post-apocalyptic story, I would not be as interested in it as I was. I would be kind of bored, but it does. So I'm liking it. Anyways, I'm about to go in. This is my bag. I got this bag like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. You want to know why I got this bag? Was it Carucci or Jane Aiko? Who would have thought those two people, my fashion icons? One of the two of them posted an Instagram picture like years ago, and they had this bag. And I told myself, if I save up the money to be able to afford this bag, I'm going to get it. And one day I did, and I just went and pulled the trigger. But I've had this bag since like before the pandemic. So like I've had this book bag for like 3 years. Anyways, I never wear it because it's not the easiest bag to maneuver. You have to like hold it and then open, and so like it's kind of hard to get stuff out. Y'all don't care. I'm about to go into the bookstore, so I'll see you guys later.
You can't be replaced. So go now. That's why I'm
Hello you guys, I am back, and I told you, a damn shame all the books that I bought, but like this is my book buying for until I think Rain comes out. Rain is the last book in the American Royal series. That's probably when I'll book shop again. These are books I've been wanting like all year. Like all year. Like I've had these books in my Barnes & Noble cart, and I just never like, I was just like, I don't want to buy it online. Like I like the experience, I like going in, I like holding the book in my hand, and so like that's the shopping that I did. But you want to know something, you guys? I purchased, let me see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, I think I purchased 10 books, and my total was only $180. Keep in mind, I purchased like hardbacks. Like, of course, I purchased some, like, I'm like showing you guys. You can get a little sneak peek. I purchased some YAs that were kind of cheap, that were just like $11. So that's 2. But like everything else is hardback and adult fiction. I bought all adult fiction, and my total was $180. Now I do have a Barnes & Noble membership, and I guess now Barnes & Noble is giving you points now. The lady was explaining to me that like I have points. Maybe they always did this and y'all looking at me like, King, you're dumb. But she was talking about points, and I have like $20 in points, she was saying. Book. Anyways, I'm done. My man said he wanted pizza tonight. I do not want pizza tonight, but I'm gonna go pick up his pizza, and I'm going home. I'm going home, and I'm gonna finish Severance. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Hello you guys, I need to give you guys my final thoughts on Severance. I'm going to give this book like 3.75. I didn't greatly enjoy this book. It was easy enough to read. Like I wasn't bored, but also I just wasn't excited every time I went back to read this book. It was good. Like it was a good book. You want to know, whenever a book about a girl going through life, usually millennial, is like marketed, it's always marketed as like satirical and like dark humor and funny and witty, and I promise you I will never laugh once. Like I never laugh in these books, and I'm always wondered like, why are these books, like why are the blurbs telling me this book is funny and dark humor and like you're gonna laugh and you're gonna relate to, and it's just like but I actually really don't. Like I really don't find anything going on in this book all that funny, and that was this book. Like this book just wasn't funny. The main character was fine. I didn't dislike the main character, and I really like the way this book is told, this like before and after type thing, and seeing the parallels. And I also enjoyed what this book had to say, but like it wasn't also that deep, you know. But if you like post-apocalyptic stories like this, I think this is a book that you should read. I don't think it's one you should miss, because it does do some interesting things, and then it has some interesting things to say. But overall, 3.75. So we are going to move on to Emily Henry's Happy Place. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Hello, you guys. I'm here to open up some book mail with you guys. I have had so much book mail just accumulating that I need to open up with you guys. After I open up this book mail, I am going to start Happy Place. A booktuber that I watch is doing some sprints, and so I just feel like this is the perfect time for me to get into Happy Place. So you guys do not have to wait that long to the end of the video. I mean, there is literally only 2 books left, but still, we're gonna get into Happy Place right now. But first, let's open up some book mail. I'm sorry, you guys, this vlog isn't going to have a lot of B-roll stuff, like me doing stuff. It's just when you have so many books to read at such a short time, it's just hard. Okay, so first thing we have is Jody Slaughter with Play to Win. If you watched my mid-year freakout tag, you knew this is one of my most anticipated releases for the last half of the year, and boom, it is right here. I am excited. Think I'm going to shove this into a book club. Maybe it'll be a January book.
I don't know, because now I'm just thinking, like, why can't this be the, oops. Why can't this be, maybe this should be November. Maybe this should be the November pick. This is probably going to be the November book club pick. Yeah, that's probably going to be the November book club pick. We'll see. Let's open up something else. We have The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. I have been wanting to read this book for so long. It has been out for a few years, and now I finally need to read it. And so I got it. And this, the booktuber Maya Core, she recommended Stillhouse Lake in one of her videos about books that are like underrated, and I was like thinking about that. This, for some reason, of all the books that she gave, this one has been on my mind the longest, and then finally I got my hands on it, so I cannot wait to read this year. By the way, all of these books you will get a review on by the end of the year, because like I said, I am a new person. I am a new book reader. Any book that I buy new, I have to read in the year that I bought it. We are past the times where I let books that I buy sit on my bookshelf for years. It's not gonna happen. So this book will get read by the end of the year. So shout out to Maya Core for that. Now I need some scissors. Let me open these off camera, then come back to you guys. Okay, one sec. Okay, let's get into the book of the month book that I chose. I did not choose any of the books that were like actually options. I chose one of the author's books. And so I just purchased The Death of Vivek Oji. Let me put it in the camera. The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Ameze. They wrote You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, the book Pet, some other books that a lot of people like. I have not liked a book from them yet, but I am ready to see if I like this. One of you guys on Goodreads really enjoyed this book, and that's what put it on my radar. So that's my book of the month book. But I finally got my hands on Love and Color, I say to say, because it's in paperback, and I love the paperback. It's easier to travel with. And then Goodreads finally influenced me to buy a book. I never pay attention to any of the books that are being promoted on Goodreads, but I saw What She Missed by a Black author, and I was like, let me get it. And then as I look at more books by this author, there's like a romance that I could do, like All the Things We Never Knew. This is by Liara Tamani. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but like, oh my gosh, I'm always looking for more Black authors. So I saw this promoted. Why is this so close? I saw this promoted, and I had to get my hands on it. So that is our book mail. These are the books that I got in the mail. And so, yeah, let's move on to Happy Place. I'm about to read Happy Place. I am excited to do it. Hello, you guys. I am here to give you guys my first update on Happy Place by Emily Henry. I feel like most of you probably want to know what my thoughts are on this book. So let me tell you what this book is about if you do not know yet. In this book, we're following a couple named Harriet and Wynn. Basically, they are like childhood friends. They met each other in college, so they're like college friends. I don't know why I said childhood. They are college friends, but they are now like in their like adult life. They're like 30-ish, about to be 30, and basically all of their friends who also are from college are meeting up for one last vacation at this vacation house that their friend Sabrina owns. Her family is rich. They have a vacation house, but her dad is selling the vacation house, so they're having one last hoorah before they'll never like be able to have a vacation at this vacation house they've always had vacations at. Well, basically, when they get there, they find out one of the couples in the group, Sabrina and Parth, I think his name is, they are getting married. And so basically, Wynn and Harriet, they used to be engaged, but they broke off their engagement because they broke up. We don't know why that is. So basically, they decide to pretend like they're still together so they don't ruin the wedding of Sabrina and Parth, because not only did they announce they were engaged, but they're also going to get married on this vacation. And so our two characters, Harriet and Wynn, are like, they don't want to mess up their vacation, so we're going to pretend like we are still together. And that starts this whole relationship. We go back and forth. This story is told how Emily Henry likes to tell stories. We go back in time to like before, and then we have the current as to what's happening right now. So this book will be most like People We Meet on Vacation that I love and adore. Gonna be honest with you guys, I like this book. I'm enjoying my reading experience. I'm on page 200 of this book, but I do not care about anything that's going on with the friends and stuff. Like, anytime they do stuff around the town, I don't care. Anytime there's any conflict with any of the other friends, I do not care. And for this whole story to be a story wrapped around like friendship and hanging out, I honestly don't care. I do like the relationship aspect that's going on, this idea of these two people breaking up and having to pretend like they're still together. I do like that. And Wynn and Harriet are like a really cute couple. They have cute moments, but it's everything else. When we're dealing with anything that's not their relationship, I do not care. And so if I come back and I'm like 3-star, 4-star, we're taking off a whole star. I already know, because the first half, I just did not care about anything that was going on relationship-wise with them. Now, you guys, I have to let you guys know, it is 1 o'clock in the morning. I do not read this late because I think I get frustrated because I'm just trying to reach a point. Like, I wanted to reach page 200 before I went to bed. And so I will have to wake up in the morning and see if I feel differently about this book when I wake up in the morning, because maybe it's because I'm a little frustrated. I'm frustrated and I want to like finish, that I'm more annoyed with like how much I'm not enjoying like the friendship aspect of this book. I think when it comes to main characters, Harriet and Wynn might be like my most uninteresting main character I've read from Emily Henry. I think they're the flattest. I don't really feel anything for Wynn or Harriet. So there's that. I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it. I was loving it in the beginning. The first 100 pages I was loving. The second 100, the first 100 I would give 4 stars. The second 100 I would give like 3. So that's how I feel. That's how I feel. I'm just not loving it. So we'll see, but I loved Book Lovers in the beginning and hated the ending of Book Lovers, and that's how that got a 3.5. So maybe the last half of this will switch up. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts on this book, and I will come back with my final thoughts when I finish it tomorrow. Okay, peace. Hello, you guys. I'm here to give you guys my final updates on Happy Place by Emily Henry. I'm going to say it. I think when it comes to Emily Henry's little quadruplet of romance novels, Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, Book Lovers, now this one may be my least favorite. I don't know. The reason why I said I don't know is after I finished Book Lovers, I was very like meh on it. I didn't really like the relationship in Book Lovers, and I really didn't like the story in Book Lovers, I don't think. But I did like the main character in Book Lovers. So I was just kind of like meh on it. Like, okay. This one, I actually really liked the ending of this book when it came to like what happened with Wynn and Harriet. I thought the ending was really cute and really like, you know, a good story. But I do think I didn't care anything about the friends at all. And that does take up a big chunk of the book. They're on vacation with the friends. I didn't feel a deep connection with the lovers, like Wynn and Harriet. Like, I liked them, but I just didn't feel anything deep for their relationship. Like, we were going back in time, and I was like waiting to feel these moments. Like in People We Meet on Vacation, when we go back in time to the two friends, you like see why they should be together. You see this deep relationship and how they're perfect for each other. But in this one, I don't really feel that. I just like the way this concluded. I like the idea of finding your happy place and someone making you happy and all of that. And I thought Wynn and Harriet were cute, you know, but I just wasn't all that in it. I'm going to give this book 3.5 stars, because that is exactly what I think I gave Book Lovers. Oh, are me and Emily Henry falling out of love with each other? I like the banter better in Book Lovers. I didn't like Wynn said some funny stuff here or there. I just kind of thought Wynn and Harriet were a little flat. Like Wynn made furniture, Harriet was a doctor, but it all just seemed like, okay, things that you give people, like jobs you give people in romance novels. Like it didn't really seem all that like that those were like them as people. And I really hated the Friends. I'm not even gonna lie. I hated the Friends. I didn't care. Every time there was drama with the Friends, I deeply didn't care. But I did like the idea of like their issues, the issues Wynn and Harriet were having that led to their breakup. I thought those were really real, and I thought those were well done. If you can tell, I'm going back and forth in my head on what to rate this. I know I just didn't love it, and I thought I was going to. I really, really did. But I was kind of waiting for it to be over. So I am going to give this book 3.5 stars. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't know what to do. Anyways, we're going to move on to Bunny, which is another book I'm probably going to hate too. This video has already been a lot. This video is already becoming a lot. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Hello, you guys. It is a lot of time later since the last time I talked to you guys. I think the last time I talked to you guys, I had cursed that lady out in the parking lot. Like, it's been a lot of time later. But you guys, I have finished Bunny. Yes, finished Bunny by Mona Awad, and we need to discuss this book. Okay, to understand this book is to understand that this book has had like 2 lives. You have the first life where this book came out and a lot of people trashed it. A lot of people didn't get it, and it sat with a really low Goodreads rating because people hated it. And then Book Talk came along, and this book got second legs, and like now everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. It's just like the girls that get it. Like, this book is absolutely amazing. And so I was curious to read this book just to see, like, oh my gosh, polarizing views, what's going on. If you like this book before 2022, I'm gonna give you that. You saw a vision and you enjoyed this book. But anybody who liked this book 2022 and after, I believe is lying. This book isn't good. I believe this book has its audience, and there's going to be people who enjoy it. If you are someone who loves like this type of horror, you would like a book like this. This book does have an audience, but like the audience for this book is so small. But for me, the audience for this book is so small. I think that's intentional. I think Mona Awad made this book for a small audience to enjoy this book. So the idea that this book is just getting global love, I can't buy into it. The book is too weird and too experimental for it to get love like that. I genuinely believe, and I don't usually say this, that the cool kids have liked this book, has said like, ooh, you should read Bunny. A lot of people don't like it, but if you read it, you might like it. And so the people who have picked it up is like, ooh, the girls that I like and the girls that I'm influenced by, they like this book, so I guess I should like it too. And there's no real critical thought on if you actually enjoyed this book, because I am giving this book 1 star. I am. I did not like the writing. I did not like the story. I did not enjoy the characters. I did not enjoy anything that this book had going on in it. I dozed off several times reading this book. I thought about DNFing this book several times. This is one of the worst books I read this year. But that is because it's not for me. It's not for me. This book isn't trying to be for me. This book has a specific audience, and that audience is always going to be small. So when I say I don't like this book, there's going to be people who are like, oh my gosh, you didn't like Bunny? What? And it's just like, I feel like people are far too influenced by the people who they like and what other people say is good. Like, there are always going to be books that have specific audiences and cult-like followings, and that's it. The book is intended to be that way. And those books are not supposed to be loved by everyone. And so when people try to stretch their own interest in order to conform to like a hive mentality that we all should enjoy the same books and get the same books. I don't like that. And I think that's what has happened to Bunny, because I think if you get this exact same book, take Bunny off the cover and make it another book that no one has read, a lot of people who are giving this book 4 stars would DNF it. Would be like, I don't like it. But because they've seen people who they like on Book Talk, and a bunch of people be like, underrated books you should read, they feel like they have to like the book. And it's just like, you don't. Like, this book is not a book everyone is supposed to like. And I'm not the person for it. I deeply don't like this book. By the way, this book is about a girl who joins a group of like grad students who call themselves the Bunnies, and they do a bunch of like sacrificing and stuff with bunnies. And basically, because she wants to join the Bunnies, she loses her best friend that she had before that. They used to make fun of the bunnies together, but she joined the Bunnies, and basically they're like a cult, and she loses her other friend, and things happen. There's a boy. Is there a boy? Like, just read the book. But it's basically about this cult where they call each other bunnies, and this girl like kind of losing touch with reality and her friends, and you know, things happen. Yeah, like I just wasn't into it, and I feel like I'm gonna get dragged for filth for not liking the book when I shouldn't, because I don't think this book is for me to like. And I just feel like a lot of people conform to public opinion because they want to be cool instead of just having likes and dislikes of their own. So like I said, the people who like read this book first, and I know they like weird horror, I'm gonna give y'all that. The people who like never read weird horror and haven't read a weird horror book since this book, giving this book 4 and 5 stars, like, who you fooling? Who you fooling? Like, you didn't get this book either, and you didn't enjoy this book either. You just want to be cool. So anyways, anybody who gave this book a high rating after 2022, I'm looking into it further. To see if you telling the truth. Anyways, I will see you guys later so we can read the last book, Yellowface. Oh, the reason why I didn't come and give you guys a mid wrap up, because there was nothing to alert you on. I would have just told you guys the synopsis and moved on, like, and told you I was thinking about DNFing it. Like, I didn't have no thoughts. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the last book of the video, Yellowface. Goodbye. Oh, y'all thought we were done with the terrible, awful lighting? We're not. I'm here to give you guys my initial thoughts on Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. In this book, we're following a white woman who was friends with an Asian woman. And this Asian woman was an acclaimed author. Everyone loved her. And basically one day, our main character, the white woman, and the Asian woman, they are over at the Asian woman's house, and the Asian woman chokes on a pancake and dies. But before she dies, our main character read a manuscript that she was working on for her next big, amazing book. And basically, she steals the manuscript before she leaves the apartment of the dead woman's house, and she tries to publish it as her own. So in this book, we are following this white woman as she pretends like she wrote a story that an Asian woman wrote, and it is called Yellowface. So in this book is told in first person present tense. Is it first person retrospective? Does she because she'll be like, and this would be my demise. So yes, it is. And we also have somewhat of an unreliable narrator. She doesn't really know what's true. We don't know if what she's saying is true. And that's pretty much what this story is about. You know, I can tell reading this book that R.F. Kuang does not usually write contemporary. There's just a way that this book is written where you can tell the parts of the book where R.F. Kuang is really strong about. Like when she's talking about history and when she's talking about certain things about China
and things like that. Like when she's talking about the book that the Asian woman was going to write, she's really enthusiastic about it, and you can tell that's what R.F. Kuang is used to writing, especially probably coming after Babel, after she already had written Babel. You can just tell what she's interested in. And I do think some of the contemporary parts of the book, like building June, who is our main character, as a strong main character, some of that is kind of falling to the side. There's some ghosty elements, some speculative elements, some thrillery elements that I also think aren't done with enough finesse. And so I do think some of that is showing the weakness in R. Kuang as a writer, but not like weak as in it's bad. It's just she's really strong in other aspects. And then in other parts of this book, I'm just like, that's a little clunky. That's a little clunky. Somebody else, I think, who usually writes contemporary books would make that part a whole lot cleaner. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this book is just like, go, 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 go. This book is such a fast-paced book. If you have not read this book and you've been going back and forth on if you should read this book because it's literally going to take you 3 days at most. 3 days at most to read this book because it is just so interesting. It is so damn interesting what this book is about. Now, this is not an original book. Like this book, this type of plot has been done before. Someone stealing someone else's work, plagiarism, or someone pretending to be someone that they're not, i.e. even a yellow face. You have books like The Plot that have done this. And then you have a book that I read this year, Disorientation. And I brought this book out because it's so interesting to see how two authors take on literally the exact same topic of yellow face. And this book, there is a professor pretending to be an Asian person, and they're both satirical. They both have this satire element. And then in this book, you have a white woman pretending to have written an Asian woman's work. And it's interesting how they both go about the exact same topic in a really different way. This book is more subtle, I think, in its delivery, and I actually think that's a detriment to this book. I think if this book had a more clear thesis and it had more clear focus, it would have been a lot stronger of a book, but I think this book kind of just, it just wades in the water a little bit. It's a little in the middle. It's not really packing that punch I think this book wanted to pack. And then actually, I feel like Yellowface actually isn't subtle enough. It is very obvious what this book is trying to say. It is very obvious how R.F. Kuang as an author feels about certain subjects and certain topics. And I think that actually does a disservice to this book. I think R.F. Kuang is too good a writer for this book to be so obvious. I think R.F. Kuang could write a stronger book that is actually more subtle. And so it's so interesting that I would actually have liked if this author took some pages out of this book, and if this author took some pages out of this book. It's really, really interesting. But what's most interesting to me is this idea of originality. Oftentimes, I feel like if you are a writer, I am someone who writes, you're always looking for that next original idea, because every time you read a book that is really, really original, you think to yourself, why didn't I come up with that? This was so obvious. Why couldn't I have done that? But you never think about all the things that inspired that author to come up with that original idea. And then you have books like this, or you can add The Plot in this, and I'm sure there's many other books that also deal with this exact same thing, plagiarism and stealing someone's identity. By the way, stolen identity and mistaken identity is two tropes that people hate that I absolutely love. So that's obviously working in my favor. That's what I actually loved about both of these books, because I love that. But anyways, that you don't have to be original. I think we harbor too much on things being original. I like the idea of different authors taking on the same exact topic and adding their own spin and their own flair to it. I think it's what makes books interesting. I like when books seem to be in conversation with one another. I like when books seem to be talking to one another. I love it. And so I think people obsess too much on originality. Another thing, this book has a lot of pop culture references. They talk about Twitter. They talk about Goodreads. They talk about TikToks. And I know a lot of people would be annoyed by that. But you guys want to know something? I actually sit in the unpopular opinion when it comes to pop culture references. As long as they are done well, I do not mind it. Now, that does not mean I think these are done well. I actually think some of the topics that come up in this book are just 4 years too old for R.F. Kuang to add any nuance to them. But I don't fault her for using them. People always talk about books being dated. This book is going to be dated. This book is going to be obvious it was written in 2016. Obvious it was written in 2014. I'm like, what's wrong with that? What is wrong with a book being obvious that it was written in a certain year. I think one person came up with this idea that books should feel timeless. You shouldn't know when a book was written, and people have ran with that. But I don't mind reading a book and knowing it was written in 2010 and being able to tell it was written in 2010. That's, I think, the fun of reading. I like the idea of something being a time capsule, something just being of its time and being intentional about it being of its time. So when someone picks up this book in 30 years, they are going to see how the publishing world was back in 2020, back in the 2020s, back in 20, like, that's important. It's important for people to have certain things they can look to and be like, that's what was happening then. Because we live in the time, we think it's kind of stupid. But I think as you drift away from it, you start to appreciate it more. And it's so funny because it's the reason why we love movies like Scream or love movies like Scary Movie and stuff like that, because they feel such of their time. Like, it's why we go back and watch shows like Gilmore Girls or shows like One Tree Hill or like shows like Girlfriends or even Insecure. Shows like that because they feel exactly like the time they were made in. But what makes the work elevated is that those same topics still apply to the now. That's the finesse that they're able to do. That's what you want to, that's the game. That's the battle you're trying to do. But I don't think we should just be like, do not have anything that has anything to do with pop culture, because then what? It's like people who don't want books to be about the pandemic. We lived through a global pandemic. Like, it happened. It happened, and it needs to be literature and media about that, So anyways, I'm talking too long. So I will come back with my final thoughts on that and see you guys in the next one. Hello, you guys. I am here to give you guys my final thoughts on Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. I am going to give this book a 3.75. I think that this book could have just been sharper. I was always waiting for something deeper, more interesting to be going on, and we never really got that. I think June, our main character in this book, could have been a really good main character, but I think everything going on with June was a little bit too, obvious. She was your unlikable main character, and everyone loves an unlikable main character, and that's what she is. There's moments that I find June to be really fascinating when June is talking to other people, when she is using her white womanhood, when she is using her privilege to get over on people. I think that's the most brilliant part about this book, what this book has to say about white womanhood and the fragility, the perceived fragility of white womanhood, and how June was able to use that in her favor, having all these people make excuses for her, having no one really believe that she could do something like this, it taking so long to bring her down, and even when she's brought down, there's still a way for her to come back. It's just this idea how white womanhood allows for privilege, and it allows for you to always rise, and you can always fill up, and there's always opportunity where there seems like there should be none. I love that commentary there, but I feel like I said in the clip before, the commentary on cancel culture, social media, Twitter, Goodreads, all that stuff, something about it just felt like it was a little late. I felt like everything R.F. Kuang was adding to that discourse wasn't really nuanced. She didn't add anything interesting to the conversations we already had, so it just felt 3-4 years too late. Everything this book was trying to say about that just felt a little late. I felt like this book was a little too obvious. I feel like R.F. Kuang is too good a writer for the obviousness of this book. I think this book would have been a whole lot better with some subtlety. And then you have the different things that R.F. Kuang is playing with. You obviously have this being a contemporary book. You have this being a satire, but then you also get these ideas of this could be a ghost story. This could be a thriller. And I think because so much is happening, I don't think R.F. Kuang spent enough time on any of those elements, so they all really fall short to me. I really think this could have been an amazing book, but it's just not an amazing book to me. I think the ending gets really clunky. If I'm being honest with you, the ending gets if R.F. Kuang was a weaker writer, I would actually be even more critical of the ending. But R.F. Kuang is a great writer, so she's always going to get you past the finish line, but I just think what the final act of this book is very clunky, very cheesy, and I know this book is supposed to be satirical, but it takes a turn to almost be foolishness. I love the chaos, but this, I think, ventured into, you know, ridiculousness that I didn't really appreciate. Like I said, I think June as a main character could have been more. She's underutilized. She's such a good character that she's almost underutilized. Like, I don't know. Those are my thoughts on Yellowface, though. I am going to give it 3.5 stars. I thought it was going to be a winner chicken dinner, and it's just not. What can we do, though? But I do want R.F. Kuang to do more contemporary books. As I was reading it, I was thinking to myself, if R.F. Kuang wrote this book 5 years from now, it would be brilliant. Pulitzer, Women's Bookers, it would be. I just think this being R.F. Kuang's first go in contemporary, it feels like a first go for R.F. Kuang. And a first go for R.F. Kuang is always going to be good. But, like, this could have been great. The Times said it was sharp. I think it could have been sharper. June could have been sharper. We spend so much time in June's head, and I would actually like to see what this book would be with us outside of June's head, and like seeing June interact with more people. Because at times I got sick of being in June's head. Like, it became like, I get it, you know? Anyways, that's what I think about that. But that's the last thing. So I will see you guys to wrap up this video. Peace. Hello, you guys. I am here to wrap this video up. In this video, we read 6 books, which I think is like the biggest undertaking I have like done in a video. Like, I rarely read 5 books. I took on 6, and this vlog did take a long time to get done. But we read all 6 of these books in this video, and none of them were winners. I'm gonna be honest with you. And it's sad because I was expecting all of them too, but look at how beautiful this stack of books is. Like, this is the vision. This is the vision. It is so gorgeous, but we did not have a bunch of winners. So let me just run through them really quickly in the order we read them. So the first book we read was Reckless Girls. I didn't like this book like I expected to not like this book. I don't like it when there's a bunch of people, one person end up dead, then we spend the whole book figuring out like why that one person is dead. It's the reason why I do not like the TV show The White Lotus. I don't like things like that because I always feel let down. I build up all of these like ideas of what could have happened, and it never lives up to it. So I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars, but that's a me problem because I should have known this book wasn't going to be for me, and I know now not to pick up any more books like this knowing that they're like this. It's just the people who I like be reading them, and I'll be like, I want to be in on it, and then it's just, I don't know. Catherine Center, The Bodyguard. I deeply wish Emily Henry wrote this book. This is the book I wanted Emily Henry to write. The Bodyguard was fine. A lot of people like this book, and I get why. This book has a really fun premise. It's probably my favorite premise and plot of any romance book I probably read like this year. But it needed a little bit more. I felt like the characters could have been a little bit more. They could have been a little bit funnier. They could have been a little bit more romantic. I don't know. It just didn't hit all the marks for me. So 3.5 out of 5 stars on that one. The next book that we read was Severance by Ling Ma. This was a really, really interesting book. I like the way this book like was done. I like this post-apocalyptic with this this like millennial trying to make it story. You guys know I usually do not like millennial trying to make it in life type of stories, but with this post-apocalyptic thing going on, it really vibed really well. I'm gonna give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. It's a book I 100% would revisit. I like this book. I'm gonna give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I'm cool with that. The next book that we read was Happily Paced by Emily Henry, which everyone was waiting on me to read. And I didn't like it. I didn't love it. I liked it perfectly fine. I'm gonna give it a 3.5, but I didn't. I wanted to give this book a 4. I wanted to give this book a 4, but I'm not. It just didn't have, I didn't care about I'm telling you, these side characters are taking the stars away. I did not like them. I did not care. Like, when a bunch of college friends come together for like a vacation, one last hoorah, I expect like fun and shenanigans and antics and drama. And this book, like, I didn't care nothing that was going on with them friends. I didn't care nothing that was going on with them friends. I found the friends to be annoying. And I also didn't fully believe these people would be friends and be friends for so long. And they was all getting on my nerves. And then Wynn and Harriet were like fine. I really liked them towards the end. I think the 0.5 is coming in the last like 50 pages of this book because I really like that. But I don't know, 3.5 stars. I'm actually surprised as many people like this book. I'm surprised that so many people like this book because 100% I think of all Emily Henry's books, this book leans the most women's fiction. I think Beach Read is 100% a romance book. People We Meet on Vacation, it starts to lean women's fiction. Book Lovers, I think, goes back. No, that's very women's fiction with the stuff going on with her sister. And this is full-blown women's fiction. Like, I wouldn't even go as far as to say Happy Place is a romance book. It's full-on women's fiction. Like, I just, like, think that's fully what Happy Place is. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. It's full-on women's fiction. Yeah. Yeah, I've read lit fic that is more romantic than Happy Place. Like, Happy Place is a bunch of post-grad millennials trying to, like, figure out their lives. Like, yeah, that's women's fiction. Anyways, then we read Bunny. I gave Bunny 1 star, and I'm okay with that. I stick with that 1 star. This book is not for me, but I think Bunny is the type of book that is written to not be for everyone. And every time I go to see, like, what this book was trying to be, how can I understand this book, everybody's reviews of this book is, it's weird, loved it, it's weird, loved it, and I'm just like, why? And so it makes me question how people really feel about this book. Are people just saying they love this book because this book is, like, now having this, like, resurgence, like, people are starting to get it, and it's like, do you really get it, though? Do you really like it, or are you just liking it because people who you like told you should like it? I don't know. But for me, it's really hard. If I don't mind a weird horror. Like did I show you guys? Like, think like a book like Fever Dream I read in the last vlog. So Happy For You, I think, is a weirdish thriller. This Thing Between Us is also weird, and I like those books. I like when horror gets a little weird, but I have to understand it. I have to understand the weirdness, and I don't understand Bunny. Therefore, I can't give it more than 1 star because I don't get it. I simply don't get it. And I don't think a lot of people get it. Maybe that's the point. And the last book we read was Yellowface. I felt like Yellowface was just a little too obvious for me to just be blown away by it. I don't think this book is doing anything that reinvents the wheel, but I do think this book is just really fucking enjoyable. So I gave it a 3.75. And those are our books that we read in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the vlog, and I'll see you in the next one.